A quote often attributed to Theodore Roosevelt goes like this: "Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care." Wait, let me say that again. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. You see, teaching is only one part of children's ministry. Another big part of it is connecting with your students and showing them that you care about them. That's what builds a foundation of trust, which leads to a better overall learning. So, how do you show your students that you care? There's lots of things that you can do to show them, but start off by getting to know them better. In this video, I'll show you 7 different games you can play with your students to learn more about them. At the end of this video, I'll talk about what the best questions are to ask during those games. And as a bonus, I'll also include a free downloadable gift for you to make your life easier. Are you ready? Let's get started. The first game is pretty simple. All you need is a bag, slips of paper, and a pen. Think of some icebreaker questions ahead of time. Write them on the papers and place them in the bag. You could have them take turns in order of age or alphabetically, by height, or just go around the circle. This is a pretty laid-back game, which allows the kids to talk more about their answers and learn about each other in a relaxed setting. You can play an alternative version of this game by filling the bag with objects instead of papers. Choose 10 to 15 small objects that can represent different areas of life for the kids. For example, a book can help to spark a discussion about how school is going, or maybe you can talk about their favorite stories and characters. A piece of fruit can start them talking about their favorite or least favorite foods. A picture of the family can start a discussion about their own families, and so on and so forth. You can get really creative with simple objects around your house. The second game requires 2 dice and a list of questions numbered 2 through 12. Players will take turn rolling the dice and answering the questions that correspond with the number that they rolled. If the player gets a number that has already been rolled by someone, you can give him the option to answer the same question or re-roll for a new question. Play until all the questions have been answered. For the third game, you'll need colorful candy, and a list of questions go with each color. For example, if you use M&Ms, you can make a list of 6 questions for the 6 colors. You can assign the question, "What do you like to do for fun?" to the color yellow, and "What is one talent you have?" to the color green, and so on and so forth. You can either give each person a snack-sized pack of candy or divide a larger pack into small cups. To play, have everyone sit in a circle. Going around the circle, your students will take turns randomly pulling out a piece of candy and answering the question that goes with its color. If a player picks a color he has already picked before, he can eat it and try getting a new color. This is a great way to have snack time and also get to know your students at the same time. The fourth game takes a little more involvement from the players. You'll need index cards, pens, and a paper bag. At the start of the game, you'll give each player an index card. Instruct them to secretly write 3 true facts about themselves on their card and drop it into the bag. Once everyone is done, mix up the bag and pull out the card. Read it out loud and try guessing who it belongs to by giving it to one that you suspect. Then that person will go next, pulling out a card and guessing who it belongs to. Keep going until all the cards are distributed. At the end, everyone can reveal whether or not the guesses were correct or not. The first 4 games we covered so far are more relaxed with a lot of space for discussion and follow-up questions. But the final 3 that we'll be talking about are a lot more fast-paced and active. But first, if you're liking this content so far, make sure you click the like button to let us know. Also, comment, subscribe, and share this with someone you think could benefit from it. Game number 5 is pretty simple, but it does require some space to move around. Have everyone stand up and then divide the room with an imaginary line in half. You'll ask the players which of the 2 options they'd prefer and tell them to stand on the corresponding side of the room. For example, would you rather have cake or would you rather have pie? If you like cake more, stand on that side of the room. If you prefer pie, stand on that side of the room. You can play as many rounds as you like and cover all kinds of topics. This game is really great as an icebreaker since it gets everyone moving around, laughing, and talking about their choices. For the 6th game, you'll need something easy to pass around, like a bean bag or something similar. You'll also need a musical instrument or a way to play a music track. To play, have everyone stand in a circle. When the music plays, they will pass the object around in a circle. When the music stops, whoever is holding the object must answer the question you ask. To make this game more challenging, you can have the players spread out a little bit each time you start another round so that tossing and catching gets progressively harder. Play this game for as long as you like. The 7th and final game also requires a bit more space to move around. The 2 things you'll need are an inflated balloon and a permanent marker. Beforehand, write different questions all around the balloon and draw borders to separate each question. The player will toss around the balloon for 5 to 10 seconds. At the end of the countdown, you'll call out the player's name and he must catch the balloon. Whichever question his right thumb lands on is a question that he has to answer. If the player gets the same question as before, let him pick a different one on the balloon to answer. Play until everyone has had a few chances to catch the balloon and answer questions. Those were just a few ideas for icebreaker games, but you can make up your own ideas too. A lot of games could work as long as there's an opportunity to pause and ask questions. Speaking of questions, what kind of questions are good ones to ask? There are 2 levels of icebreaker questions. At the first level, you've got general questions. These are pretty easy to answer, so they're best during the active and fast-paced games. The general questions are great when you meet someone for the first time because they probably won't be comfortable with talking about their deepest thoughts and feelings just yet. A lot of people prefer sticking to surface level topics at first, at least until they get to know you better. You could ask questions such as, what's your favorite animal? What do you like learning about? What do you do in your free time? Do you have any siblings? These questions are more casual and not very intimidating to share about. Typically, people are fine with talking about their likes, dislikes, favorite things, hobbies, sports, activities, experiences, talents, families, friends, when their birthday is, etc. You get the gist. Although these questions are simple, they are a really great starting point to build connections. The second level of icebreaker questions goes a bit deeper with more personal topics. Naturally, these will require more thought and more openness between you and your students. Because of this, it's a good idea to ask these types of questions during the calmer games so you have more space for discussion. Some examples of deeper personal questions you could include are, who is someone you look up to and why? What is something you feel others misunderstand about you? What makes you feel loved? As they trust you more, they will become more open to talking about their goals, dreams, worries, disappointments, role models, beliefs, opinions, motivations, self-image, etc. Discussing these personal things can really deepen your connection with your students, but it does require a bit of vulnerability. If necessary, try leading by example and share about your own experiences first. Also, think about how you would feel if you were in their shoes. If you were a child and wanted to share something personal, how would you want your teacher to act? Wouldn't you want them to be a good, empathetic listener? Of course, so make sure you do that. Along with that, don't allow anyone else to embarrass them for sharing their thoughts. Before you go, I promise a free gift to make your life easier. I know that good questions can be hard to come up with on the spot, so if you'd like a list of icebreaker questions that you can download and print for yourself, check out the link in the description box below. In conclusion, just like we talked about at the beginning of this video, the point of children's ministry is not just to teach, but to connect. Genuine connections take time, but they are worth the effort. So, use the ideas in this video to start building those connections.